Good morning. Welcome to an absolutely beautiful and sunny, glorious southern Spain. And we are here with Ducati for their Streetfighter, their new V2, which we're going to be riding on the road. We've got over 200 kilometers today, nearly 240 kilometers I think it is. So it is essentially a naked Panigale V2. Now, if you click around on Bike World channel, you'll see that we've already ridden the V2 Panigale in Seville. Chris had a go, I had a go, absolutely loved it, was impressed by it. But the big talking point was, it's down in power compared to the previous Panigale V2. And the Streetfighter V2 is obviously down in power, but it is down in weight. It's 18 kilograms less than the previous bike. The S version that we're about to ride is just shy of £16,000. The standard model is 14,000, so it is a little bit pricey. But, I mean, look at that. She does look beautiful. And the conditions for once are perfect. So I'll give you a technical walk round a little bit later and we'll get some riding impressions, and at the end of the vid I'll give you a little verdict and tell you what I think of the new Streetfighter V2. So when the lead rider warms up his tyres, usually that's an indication of we're going to leave town and send it a bit. So we've done about 130, 140 kilometers. So what's impressed me the most? Handling, exceptional, really good as a road bike, as a street bike. Seems to work well in town at low speeds, and then works when the roads aren't perfect, and then when we've hit the mountain passes it's worked really well. Handling is really good. It's just light, flickable, agile, fun, stable, predictable, and then you've got cornering ABS, you've got cornering traction control, you've got wheelie control, so depending on your level of riding you can trim all those rider aids to how you want to ride. 120 horsepower doesn't sound like a much on paper, but then it's dropped considerably. But I don't think you need any more. Not on the roads that we've been riding. The roads are really twisty, endless cutbacks. It's been so much fun. It sounds great as well. I love the little barbel on the exhaust when you close it. Kind of an airboxy noise when you gas it. Turn off the wheelie control, it'll pop the wheel up dead easy, almost like a big single. But then when you rev it, it's quite happy to rev like a triple. It's such a versatile, fun engine. And I think it looks great. I'm really full of praise for this bike. I didn't think I'd honestly like it as much as I have done. I didn't think, because there's a lot of fun bikes in this class, but this is so much fun, especially on the roads we've been riding. So what I've done is change the ABS and put everything down to 1 and turn the wheelie control off. It's just toy-like. Bikes are supposed to make you smile, and that's what this is doing. And it's 120 horsepower, it's so light, it's just fun. Now me and Chris both rode the Panigale V2 in Seville, what was that, a couple of months ago? And we both raved about it. We both loved it. We both thought, yeah, 120 horsepower is enough. Yes, it's got lightweight handling, and yes, it's really capable on track. Which then gave me the appetite for the Streetfighter V2, because this shares exactly the same engine, the same power and torque as the Panigale V2. It's got the same lightweight aluminium chassis, it's got the same all-in suspension, manually fully adjustable, front and rear. The only kind of obvious difference is the bars, and the rake and trail is slightly different, and the wheelbase is slightly longer. So we've got a completely new swinging arm that's bespoke for the Streetfighter. Still double-sided, not single-sided. Personally, I think it still looks attractive. It's just a little bit longer. We've got 120 horsepower at 10,750 RPM, 93.3 Newton meters of torque at 8,250 RPM. Again, same as the Panigale V2 that me and Chris raved about. 80% of the torque, according to Ducati, is from 4,000 to 11,000 RPM. We've got the same rider modes as the Panigale V2 has. We've got race, sport, road and wet. We've got the ABS cornering and the Brembo M50 brakes. We've got the Ducati traction control, the wheelie control, the brake control, and the Brake Light Evo. Essentially, we've got everything the Panigale V2 has that me and Chris loved, but in a slightly different calibrated form. And what I mean by that is the suspension is the same as the Panigale V2, but obviously the settings are slightly different because this is designed a little bit more for the road. It's 1 kilogram less and the rider sits in a different position. The wheelie control, for example, is the same system, it's the same dash, it's the same way of calculating it, but the algorithm will be slightly different because the rider sits a little bit further back and you're pulling on the bars a little bit much. So after riding the Panigale V2, we was expecting big things from the Streetfighter V2, especially because Ducati weren't giving us like an 80% Panigale V2. They weren't kind of watering it down in any way. We've got the same quality components. We've got the same lightweight aluminium chassis. This bike is 18 kilograms lighter than the old 955 Panigale. And before you all start riving and raving, yes, I know it's down in power because this one is 120 horsepower and that one was what, 152, 153? So we've lost a lot of power, but we've also lost 18 kilograms, which is a lot of weight. Panigale V2 we only rode on track. We'll hit that on the road later on. And this, the Streetfighter, more dedicated for the road, the S model, we only rode on the road. And what a hugely enjoyable road ride it was. This morning it was a little bit damp in places, so I just selected the standard road mode. Ducati didn't want us to switch everything off and wheelie straight out of the hotel. They wanted us to just try it like normal people would. And it works perfectly well. The fueling is excellent. The dash is really simple and clear. The switchgear, possibly not the most attractive switchgear I've ever seen, is fairly intuitive. It's easy to flick through the modes. When we rode the Panigale V2 on track, I don't think me and Chris even looked at the switchgear or played with the modes. We just went banzaiing as fast as we could. But today we've had the opportunity to play with the different screens. There's 3 different screens you can choose from. It's easy to select, it's easy to move forward, it's easy to change and trim rider ears as you're riding. The only thing you can't do as you're riding is turn something completely off. You have to do that at a standstill. But if you want something completely off, let's say wheelie control for some immature reason, then you can do that at a standstill, save it, and when you switch it off and you switch it back on again, it's still saved. Furthermore, I can have wheelie control off, but I can still have loads of traction control. So on these roads here in southern Spain, every now and then you hit like a bit of dust where a Jeep's come over on an apex. It's really dusty, it's really slippery. So you want that traction just there in the background, but you don't want the wheelie control because it only weighs 175 kilograms. It's got 120 horsepower and it feels like it's all at the bottom end. This wheelies so effortlessly and easy compared to the old bike, it doesn't really make sense because the old bike had more power. This has got less, but because it's so light, it's like a toy. It is so playful. The power is kind of interesting because low down off the bottom, like from 3 to 5, maybe to 6, you could think it was almost like big single like. And what I mean is it's got loads of like loads of drive off the bottom. You get a lovely induction noises. You can feel it like filling its lungs full of air and propelling you forward. And then when you get like 7, 8, it then turns into a twin and then almost turns into a triple because then it loves to rev and it's really rewarding and you can chase the rev counter and start pushing the handling. The handling has really impressed me also. Obviously it's light and it's playful, but the suspension worked on the motorway, which wasn't the smoothest. It worked in town, it worked over speed humps, it worked over potholes that you could get lost in, but it also worked when we started up in the ante. We weren't going absolutely crazy. It wasn't like track riding. We weren't anywhere near any limitations of ground clearance, so that's quite impressive. I'd be interested to try this bike with grippy tyres on track because I was riding reasonably hard and toe sliders weren't touching, there was loads of ground clearance. We're on the Rosso 4 rubber, which gave really good feedback and loads of grip. And we rode at a really decently briskish pace. And it's hard to fault the suspension, it's hard to fault the handling. It gave us great feedback, it turned in very light, it turns in on the brakes. The surfaces changes quite a lot here in Spain. Sometimes it's grippy and sometimes the grip drops and sometimes it comes back, and some of the roads are like racetracks and you can just rail it as if we were in a magical berm and just fly around the corner and gas it really early. And the chassis and the feedback allowed me to do that. Later on in the day, I turned down the ABS, so I went to ABS 1. ABS 1 means I've just got it on the front, not on the back, so I tried to do what Chris does and back it in. Maybe a little, maybe a not, but it was just enjoyable. It's not about chasing lap times, it's about having fun, and it's about making me smile, and that's what it did. It was really, really fun to ride. In terms of styling and appeal, I personally like the twin exhaust. I think they look better than the really expensive V4 and V4S exhaust that's underslung. I actually, don't tell anybody from Ducati, prefer it without the wings. I think it looks slimmer, I think it looks neater. The only slight niggle for me, it's £16,000. Yes, this is the MotoGP winning brand. This is the Ferrari, this is the Lamborghini, this is the most desirable bike. When I had a poster as a kid, it was a Ducati poster because I wanted a Ducati as a kid. There's people watching MotoGP now who want a Ducati. There's people watching World Superbikes who remember the foggy eras who want a Ducati. So price doesn't even come into it. But there's no way of hiding the fact that this is more expensive than the competition. And to be honest, there are some really good bikes in this competition. You got the Street Triple, you got the MT-09, you got the KTM 990. There's some exciting, fun bikes in this category. But I don't think there's any as light and as agile and as manageable and as characterful and as playful. It's difficult when ridden in isolation in absolute perfect conditions like we've got here in Spain. The road was like a private racetrack of endless hairpin. It was so much fun and so enjoyable. Will it be the same when we're riding it in England and it's a bit grim and a bit miserable? Will it be the same when we put it against the competition? It's a difficult one to answer because today has been all but perfect. But the big question obviously is we need to get Chris, we need to get me, we need to have a dangerous riding competition on these middleweight fun bikes. They are so much fun. It should work on track because the Panigale V2 worked on track and it's got near enough the same chassis. So that box is ticked. I'm even looking at cheap Ryanair flights so I can stay a few more days just to ride this bike again. It has been so much fun. Yes, it's expensive, but just hide the receipt from the people who know. Nobody needs to know the actual price, just pretend you bought it on PCP. It's our little secret. Hope you've enjoyed the video. You can tell that I've loved it. You can tell that I'm not paying for it. If you've got any technical questions, you want to know that the bars are now 15 mil wider per side, 30 mil wider in total, or you want to know how long the wheelbase is for no bizarre reason whatsoever, then please fire some questions below. Me, Chris or Al will get back to you. Fingers crossed I can stay another day, ride it again, and please, Chris, let's get the bikes together. Let's have a proper dangerous riding competition. I think this one will win the wheelie contest. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.